Study Section 4. Federal Government and Public Finance. Introduction. This study section focuses on the peculiar problems of public finance in federal systems. Learning outcomes. After you have studied this section, you should be able to discuss aspects of federal public finance, explain public finance as a peculiar problem in federalism. Essentials of federal public finance. It is clear that the financial autonomy of the regional government is always conditional upon their working within the framework of currency and credit determined in the last resort by the general government, so far as such matters are determined by governments at all. In the latter case, the revenue obtained was to go to the treasury of the general government. This appeared to be the only case where a permanent division of authority as to imposing customs, duties, and disposing of the proceeds has been established in a federation. Aspects of federal public finance. The first great independent source of revenue for the general government in the federation then is customs and excise, and is a source which, generally speaking, is under its exclusive control. The other independent sources it shares with the regional governments. The chief of these are, firstly, receipts from properly commercial undertakings and monopolies. Secondly, grants. Thirdly, loans. And finally, taxation. Each of these must be treated in turn. They receive fees for educational and other social services which they provide. The Australian state-owned railways, indeed the income from business undertakings, usually accounts for between 1/3 and 1/2 of the revenues of the Australian states. General governments receive little by way of grants from the regional governments, whether compulsory or voluntary. In Canada, the amount of certain grants was fixed in the Constitution, which neither general nor regional government could alter, though it is important to remember that if the grants proved inadequate and they did any alteration in the amount required, the concept of the Dominion, the power to raise revenue by borrowing, was conferred both on general and on regional governments in the original constitutions of all four federations. For present purposes, it is enough to say that, largely on the initiative of the Commonwealth government, the independent powers of borrowing of both states and Commonwealth government were given up, and in their place came control by the Loan Council. Public finance. Problem of federalism. Finance is an essential prerequisite of government, and for this reason, it seems appropriate to begin our study of the working of federal government by an inquiry into some aspect of its public finance. The federal principle requires that the general and regional governments of a country shall be independent each of the other within its sphere, shall be not subordinate one to another, but coordinate with each other. To quote some words from the Federalist, it is therefore as necessary that the state government should be able to command the means of supplying their wants, as that the national government should pass the like faculty in respect to the wants of the Union. In the case of Canada, it is well to recall that the independence of the province in financial affairs is limited always by the fact that, as a mother of law, the Dominion government may disallow provincial acts dealing with finance as with other matters. This is the principle not of federal but of unified finance. Provision with a similar purpose in the Weimar Constitution of Germany were used to produce a similar result. The Weimar Republic provides little evidence of the working of federal finance, and it is not treated with more than a passing reference in this study section. Study section summary. In this study section, we focus on public finance and its peculiar problem in federal systems. The peculiar federal problem in public finance is that the federal principle requires that the general and regional government of a country shall be independent each of the other within its sphere, shall not be subordinate to one another, but coordinate with each other. This means that both general and regional governments must each have under its own independent control financial resources sufficient to perform its exclusive functions. Each by extension must be financially coordinate with the other. Each must have independent powers to provide resources and budgetary autonomy. The general governments in the federation have exclusive control over currency and coinage, banking, defense, and customs, and exercise duties. End of study section 4. Thanks for listening.